Hello, nice to meet you. This is Dr. Kim from Richgo.
Hello, I am Kim Ki-won from Richgo.
These days, there are somewhat gloomy reports that large corporations are undergoing restructuring and voluntary retirements. In the past, large companies were truly dream workplaces. It seems that even that stability is disappearing now, which is quite unfortunate. Today, I will talk about the restructuring and voluntary retirement of large corporations.
So now, we need to first look at how many companies are currently undergoing restructuring. So I noticed that there are a lot of them going around in the KakaoTalk group chat these days, right? If you look, there are Daehan Logistics, Daewoo Construction, LG Hua, Hanwha, SK Group, POSCO Group, KBS, LG Display, Yogyo, SKT, SK On, G-Market, CJ, IM Securities, KT, and Korea Cement. It's quite overwhelming.
If you look at these companies, they are not small businesses. Just hearing their names makes it clear that they are large corporations.
I don't think I've ever seen such large corporations undergoing massive restructuring like this recently. Do you remember the IMF crisis? The IMF crisis. That's right. The IMF crisis. But since then, there hasn't been anything like this. I don't think so. So, what is this? Doesn't the atmosphere feel very tense?
So there are actually talks about whether a second IMF crisis is coming.
Yes, that's right. So, it seems that this is a very serious situation, especially for Korea's representative company, Samsung Electronics.
That's right.
Right. These days it's like a sea of tears for Samsung Electronics shareholders.
That's right. It was even unprecedented for them to apologize. So, why has Samsung Electronics declined this much?
I'm not an expert in this area, but if you look here, Samsung Electronics was still making good money. They were earning well in operating profit. However, as you can see, profits decreased in the third quarter. But is this really enough for the stock price to crash like this?
Exactly.
I have that kind of thought.
Right.
However, there are many videos related to this, saying that Samsung Electronics is completely losing its future competitiveness. At the same time, it seems that there are many comparisons being made with TSMC. So, as you can see here, it has been reported that global companies that had entrusted production to Samsung Electronics foundry are turning away, causing the gap with TSMC to widen. As you can see, Samsung Electronics and TSMC were keeping up well, but now TSMC is doing well, while Samsung is completely regressing. So, stock prices reflect the future, as they always do.
Exactly. It feels like just yesterday when we were crying out about 100,000 electronics, and now it's down to 50,000.
Exactly.
Now,
Stocks. Did you buy them?
I just panicked and sold. I sold 3 shares for now.
If you look here, this is the stock price trend of Samsung Electronics. It's the trend since 2019, and at that time, it was 100,000 electronics. There were talks of 200,000 electronics, and then it fell sharply. After that, it rose again. However, looking at the recent decline, how does this downward trend look? It's very steep. As of the date this video was recorded, it has dropped over 4% today alone. And if you look here, the green represents the foreign ownership percentage. However, if you look, when foreigners reduce their ownership percentage, the stock price continues to fall, and when their ownership increases, the stock price goes up. So ultimately, it's the foreigners who move Samsung Electronics stock price. How has the recent selling trend among foreigners been? Wow, they're selling a lot. Isn't it amazing? So, the current decline in Samsung Electronics stock price is caused by foreigners. So what this means is that if we look at the current performance, it's not that bad, but the future outlook is really not good. I believe that these events are happening because they have truly judged that the outlook is not good, and it's not just with other companies. Samsung Electronics, the largest and representative company in South Korea, is falling like this. These things are very serious. So, there are even talks that Samsung Electronics could undergo a maximum restructuring of 30% by the end of the year.
In fact, the crisis of Samsung Electronics doesn't seem to be just Samsung's problem. It could also be interpreted as a crisis for all domestic companies.
That's right. Samsung Electronics are
The small and medium-sized enterprises that are intertwined.
If you really think about it, it seems really serious.
Not only Samsung Electronics, but large companies have also started restructuring. What kind of actions are they showing?
It seems that the retirement compensation is almost at an all-time high.
They're suggesting to take voluntary retirement. While it's called hopeful retirement, it feels more like a despairing retirement. Should I retire, or should I just endure?
That's right. If you look at it, they are offering an additional 400 million won in retirement compensation. So, there are many people in their 50s, and the personnel situation is currently congested. Alongside retirement pay, they are giving money. KT is increasing retirement compensation from 330 to 430 million won.
They raised it by 100 million won.
They are giving 100 million won. For SKT employees 50 plus, compensation is from 50 million won to a maximum of 300 million won. They are saying, we will give you a share, so please leave. This is the conversation happening now. So, as you can see, POSCO, KT, SK Telecom, and SK 7-Eleven. If I'm not mistaken, 7-Eleven has never undergone restructuring. But now, they are restructuring. So, the fact that companies are restructuring now indicates that they are judging that there will be a severe cold wave and that the economy will not be good. They are moving in advance, based on this judgment.
Those who are capable can receive voluntary retirement pay and either continue their work or move to another job, but getting laid off is not easy. It's not easy, right? Although it's called voluntary, it seems like a desperate retirement, which is sad.
However, while there are those aspects, the reality is that the US is quite scary. You're fired means you have to leave immediately.
There is no blindness.
So, this is me too.
It's not that the representative didn't say it, but that approach lacks clarity.
If you maintain it well, there is no structural issue. Yes. Suddenly, we are growing without actively restructuring. Now, as you can see, POSCO is also offering voluntary retirement. However, this large-scale voluntary retirement in the steel sector is almost unprecedented.
In fact, when you think of POSCO, the steel industry is representative, and restructuring in this field seems to indicate a significant change.
So, don't you all feel like something is slowly dragging you into a swamp? It's a bit scary, so I really think that some dangerous situations might be approaching, and strong stocks in a recession are these gaming stocks. However, it is said that NCSoft is now actively proceeding with additional restructuring. This is the company that created the very popular game called Lineage, and the last time NCSoft implemented a voluntary retirement was in 2012. So now, after 11 years, such an event is happening.
First of all, the reason companies are restructuring like this is a signal that the economy is struggling. Is it really that bad?
Yes, if you look at the recent information, the Abraham economic indicators shout about recession shadows and signs of domestic recovery, but the coincident index has been poor for half a year. Here, the red line represents the coincident index, and it continues to be bad. Do you know how bad this figure is? It's 98.2%. It's as bad as it was in December 2008, when the financial crisis was at its worst. It's as bad as a few months after the IMF crisis. Right now. So, the economy we are currently experiencing is worse than it has been in the last few decades. But the problem is, has a crisis actually erupted? There is no financial crisis or IMF situation, yet the economy is very bad. But what is happening now? Companies are undergoing massive restructuring, and originally it was only small businesses and self-employed individuals who were struggling. There have been many such news reports, but what is coming out recently? Now, what are large corporations doing? They are tightening their belts and are undergoing massive restructuring for the first time in a long while.
In fact, there have been continuous reports about the increase in struggling companies and the difficulties faced by self-employed individuals, but seeing large corporations take such actions really resonates. However, they have also undergone financial restructuring. The economy is in a recession, but because interest rates are being lowered, some people interpret that real estate is still doing well. Overall, how will these situations affect the market?
The economy needs to recover and improve for real estate prices to rise, right? But right now, there are continuous signals indicating that the economy is very risky. But the interest rate was lowered for that reason. So, it's not that real estate prices are rising because of the interest rate cuts. The economy is so bad that it had no choice but to lower interest rates. And now to say that this will bring a tailwind to the real estate market, This is really a serious misunderstanding. Please, everyone. I have shown you all the data. With interest rate cuts, the real estate in the city has fallen. Please. These are the experts saying that real estate will rise just because interest rates have been cut. Please, look at the data and convince me with facts. I truly believe that we are in a very dangerous situation right now.
It seems that we are already feeling the economic recession physically, and the ongoing encouragement of restructuring and voluntary retirements by large companies might be evidence of that. Shall we summarize today's topic once more as we wrap up?
Yes, right now. Small and medium-sized enterprises are already in a bad situation. Small businesses and self-employed individuals have been struggling. But now, how far is this spreading? It's spreading to large corporations as well. Meanwhile, significant restructuring is happening, and what this means is that a tremendous recession is approaching. Companies are the quickest to react. However, the belief that real estate will continue to rise, especially in Gangnam and Seocho, is extremely dangerous. I will say it again. You absolutely should not buy real estate right now. If you have bought it, you could really be in for a painful experience. Do you remember, in 2020 and 2021, there were 0 transactions, and how much pain did we endure in 2022? The possibility of properties going to auction and such events happening again is gradually increasing. Therefore, now is truly not the time to invest in real estate. In preparation for this recession, I should be preparing my portfolio, reducing loans, saving more, spending wisely, and really tightening my belt. We need to prepare for this enormous dark cloud that is approaching. This is how I see it.
There are concerns that restructuring may worsen in the future due to the economic recession and sluggish domestic demand. As you mentioned, I think we should prepare in advance to turn crises into opportunities. I will wrap up today's broadcast here.
Yes, thank you.